Brian and Matt and Steve, we're on your hands for item 13. 14. Sorry, my
14.
apologies.
Thank you. We'll take the paper as read. You'll note from the paper that there's been considerable delay in addressing this matter. The last time that the CCHL director fees were considered was in 2019. It was due to be reconsidered in 2022, but was delayed at that point pending the outcome of the strategic review, and then has not been a priority for the previous board since the strategic review, or the new board since May last year. We've had many other things that have needed our attention, and it's only now that we've been able to circle back and address this matter. We've been able to address it without any proposed increase in the directors' fees pool. As you know, we have a desire to reduce the number of directors from 8 till 7, and we can use the available pool that was previously approved in 2019. We can redistribute it in such a way that it enables us to increase the current director fees in line with the recommendation from Kerridge Partners, who are the advisors to CCHL on these matters. I don't have anything else to add, and happy to ask questions. Take questions.
Yeah. So I just had, going through the charts of all the various fees and stuff, I just was quite surprised, shocked, and had concerns about the chair of City Care. Why is that so out of whack? I was like just jumped off the page, and I'm like, what the heck's that? Given that I think some years I'm pretty sure they've borrowed to pay the dividend. So that would seem the opposite to where the fee should be. But
The directors, the chair's fee for City Care, and also one of the directors' fees, is inflated as a response to the acquisitions of Spencer's and Apex Water. So it's a temporary measure to allow more time for those businesses to be embedded into the City Care group. And it was something that was approved by the previous CCHL board and management. We see those...
So the whole board approved that?
Pardon me?
The whole board approved that?
I'd need to check that.
Yeah, I guess the fees that are paid to the City Care direct chair reflects two roles, with multiple roles within that group. So that's really what that reflects, not
so Spencer
inflated...
Henshaw's just a separate company. They didn't actually buy it and roll it in. It's just a separate business.
They did acquire it, but they retained it for the in order to manage the risk associated with purchasing that business. They retained it as a separate entity for the first few years, but they do see that situation coming to a conclusion later this year.
Right. Okay.
So it was a deliberate strategy to mitigate the risk of the acquisition, and you might recall that acquisition was largely debt funded, and that which increased the risk associated with that acquisition, and so retaining that separate governance structure for the transitional period was considered to be an appropriate risk mitigation strategy. But it will be resolved later this year.
Okay, so I don't, and this could, you feel free to shut this question down if you don't think it's appropriate, but I don't think the ratepayers of my ward would believe that the amount the director chair is getting reflects the dividend we get from those organisations. Is that fair to put it that way?
I think
compared to the others.
Yeah, the City Care Group has had some strong performance, and it's had a substantial uplift in value over recent years. They have done a very good job of of bringing the Spencer Henshaw business on board.
Right.
And they have paid down a lot of the debt that was debt to CCHL to fund that acquisition.
Right.
So I don't think it's fair to link those.
Haven't they just shut a whole lot of departments?
Excuse me,
in Christchurch?
it's about the director's fees, just,
Yeah.
But I don't
can
think
we
it's,
actually focus on?
I don't think it's fair to link those two issues,
Yeah.
councillor.
Okay.
If we could just keep focused on what we're here for, please, just, and respectful, thank you. Yanni, you're next.
Just wanted to get some advice from staff. I did put this question in, but I didn't get a response. But given that I'm the chair of the Mayor's Trust Advisory Committee, and given that council laws are the trustees, and that we will, all the council is the trust, and potentially we will benefit from this or not, is there any advice around participation, either for myself or for my colleagues?
I think we've said that before, haven't we?
Through you, Mr. Chair. If I understand your question correctly, Councillor Johansson, it is whether there's an interest in this matter because the increase will increase the amount that goes to the Mayor's Welfare Fund. Is that your?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Mayor's Welfare Trust,
Yeah.
which I chair the advisory group of. Yeah.
There's no, through you, Mr. Chair, and I'll check with Ron Lem, but there's no direct pecuniary interest in this for you. You don't benefit in any way, and a decision has to be made by the council on this matter. And so I don't think there's a conflict of interest here, because you don't have any direct benefit one way or the other, and it goes to effectively a charity. So I think you're fine to vote.
Cool, thank you. Sarah?
Thanks for that. I've got no problem with the amount it's been set as per all the guidelines, all that sort of stuff. I just have a small concern about the lack of allocation for the new director, where we're going through, there's a process being gone through at the moment for that vacant space. And I'm just wondering if there's a way to de-risk that, so you don't have to come back and ask us for an allocation of additional pool, that kind of stuff, because the report talked about the potential for having to do that.
No, there's within the existing pool, there's an allocation for the current vacancy that we're recruiting for. There's not an allocation to take the number to the 8th.
Okay.
And there's no intention to have 8 directors. We're comfortable that with the appointment process we're going through at the moment for a further independent director, that will take the board to 7 directors, and that we have the skills matrix covered.
Okay, no, that's great, thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you for clearing up that, Brian. Tyler?
Kia ora, Brian. Hey guys.
Kia ora.
Hey, just a quick question around the recommendation that stands before us here, point 4. Is this bringing it up to 2025 rates, or is it the interim rate that's been
It's the
proposed?
interim rate.
Okay. And then is there going to be a revisit after the 2025 election?
That's right, early in 2026 that we will have another look at it. We'll take further advice, and if we need to, we'll come back to you with a further recommendation.
Okay. No, that's great. I just wanted some clarity. Thanks.
Pauline?
Yeah, look, I'd like to move the other option in 4.8.
Happy to second.
The substantive hasn't been seconded yet, I believe.
No, it hasn't. No.
So I'd like to move to further consideration of the director's fees adjustments until all benchmarking work in 2025 is complete and can be submitted for one council decision after the 2025 local body election. So do I have a seconder?
Happy to second.
I think Celeste had her hand up.
Yeah, it goes back to my original questioning around the city care one. If there's a separate board and it's a separate company for Spencer Henshaw, why is it not just listed out separately? And then would that...
It's subject to the rules of disclosure, which do actually require you to aggregate up director fees when reporting it in a statutory manner.
Right. Just, yeah, because of the size of the businesses, I would have thought the airport one would be a lot higher than...
Yeah, I guess there's another example of this within the group, and we've got the Kinetics entity as well, where we run a separate board. So there are instances where we have this, but as Brian said, the city care one is under review this year.
Okay.
Thank you. I just want a clarification from Pauline what she's actually, so 4.8.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just a delay.
Just a moment.
Thank you.
Option 4.8.1, where the option description is consideration of CCHL's directors' fees, defer consideration of CCHL's directors' fees adjustment until all benchmarking work to 2025 is completed and can be submitted for one council decision after the 2025 local body election. So that is the amendment that is being proposed by Councillor Cotter. And sorry, who was this?
Celeste.
Celeste. So that's the amendment.
Councillor Donovan.
If we can just be given a moment to put that up, and then
So
it can be put,
talk amongst yourselves for a moment.
and we'll put that.
Oh, we're not having a break.
No.
So can I get some clarity from Brian, if that's right?
Yes.
Hey, Brian, you were talking about the directorship going up, or going to 7 from 8, correct? Is that what I...
No, there were 8 directors.
Sorry. Just unmuted.
Oh, pardon me. Sorry, there were 8 directors.
Yep.
The fees pool and the proposed increase is for 7 directors, and one of those is still vacant. And we're in the process of recruiting for that now. We have shortlist interviews by the appointments panel on Monday. So we don't intend to have an 8th director. We believe that with that appointment we'll have our skills matrix covered, and we've got the right mix of people around the table to undertake our responsibilities and serve the city.
Yep, that makes sense. But if I'm referring to 4.10, it says there's an allocation between 6 directors instead of 7.
Yeah.
And the chair is shown in the table above. I'm not sure if it was a...
I think that's just terminology, 6 plus a chair, where the advisor has separately disclosed the chair fee there. So we refer to 7 directors, but one of those being the chair role itself.
I see, clarity. Yeah.
Who's also a director.
And that's why I
Yeah.
get confused the first time around.
Pauline?
Thank you. And just around the number of directors around the table, is that a board decision, or does that come to council to determine the number? Or have we determined up to, or how does it actually read?
Constitution. Yeah, it's consistent with the Constitution. I think in the Constitution it's up to 8 directors,
So the board can determine.
of which 2 are required to be councillors.
Yes. Great, thank you.
Yanni?
Yeah, I did submit these ahead of the meeting, but do we have any sense of the hourly rate that this translates to? Like, how do we know how much work that the directors...
No, I'm not going to let, that's just going in, I'm not allowing that, sorry, that's, yeah.
Well, like,
Well, no, it totally depends how many hours, etc. We're not going to go there, I don't want to go there, thank you. No. Yeah, no,
we've had directors that have gone,
Yeah.
have...
Yanni, I've asked to move on, thank you.
Okay, can I ask a separate question then?
Yes.
Around, like, in the past... and
So,
I know-
sorry, guys, can we have one question and listen, please? Relevant, whether you like it or not, let's move.
I know
and
it's been
keep
a tumultuous time in the past with CCHL, and I appreciate it's become a lot more stable, but we did have some cases where people, you know, for whatever reason, may not have been attending meetings. Is there any way in which we can attribute the director's fees to the work that's been done in terms of meeting attendance?
Look, we're looking at what's in front of us. That's a separate thing we could look at elsewhere, but not here today. I don't want to go there today. Thank you.
Okay.
I'd like to actually try and keep us on a positive note, because Christchurch is going forward and everyone around this table is part of it. So let's just be positive and move forward. Thank you. No, No, guys, let's just play nice for a while, thank you.
Thank you, Yanni.
Okay, guys, excuse me.
Check with Councillor Cotter.
Thank you. So, Councillor Cotter, are you happy with this up here? So, as we move forward, if this is passed, as Councillor Cotter and Celeste's amendment is passed, then the rest of the substantive is null and void. Okay? So, I'm going to, because there wasn't a seconder for the substantive, I'm going to put Councillor Cotter's motion forward. But is there any debate, discussion? Sarah.
Thanks. I'm actually okay with an increase being approved today. The process has been done as it's been laid out and set by council. And while it says, can be submitted for one council decision after the election, the reality is there are two decisions. There is a decision today whether we make a decision after the elections or not. There are two decisions. The board have worked hard. They have followed what we've asked them to do by way of process for coming to these. It's been delayed, and currently they are 2019 rates. And do I think that there's an issue as a society with how we value work? Absolutely. But that's not what this is about today. The process is being followed, and I think that we should be approving an increase today and then re-looking at it. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? James?
Yeah. Look, the staff recommendation to implement an interim increase in directors' fees, I think, is the most practical and fair approach. It aligns with the independent benchmarking. It brings fees up to market levels, but also encompasses a public sector discount or the public service element of it. And I think the fundamental fact of it is that it ensures CCHL can retain and attract directors with the skills required to govern what is a large and complex organisation. So delaying further, or delaying this for further benchmarking, as Sarah quite correctly said, is a decision in itself, and that is a decision to prolong underpayment based on outdated rates. So I'm comfortable with the staff recommendation there. And I think the only comment that I'll make, on questions around hourly rates and stuff like that, and I don't think we need to go into it anymore, is that a director isn't sort of clocking in at a particular time and then out. It's not working in a box factory. You never stop thinking about these things, and fundamentally there's very real risks and liabilities, and anyone needs to just look at recent judgments to understand that. So it extends well beyond just turning up and sitting in a seat. There's significant liability, which people may or may not understand, but the fact of the matter is it's very real. Just ask Jenny Shipley. But anyway, I think an interim adjustment now is simpler. It avoids the backdating complexities, and I think it reflects good governance while maintaining also the public service elements. So I'll be voting against the motion that Pauline has put with, I guess, just as a matter of process, would foreshadow the staff recommendation.
Thank you. I'll go Tyler first.
Firstly, I want to give a thanks to CCHL and coming here and bringing this to the table today. I agree with James and Sarah around the way that we should be looking at directors' fees, and I agree that also you've been doing some great work and providing some stability to CCHL, and actually the optics from the city are looking really good, and they're on the uprise, particularly with the Christchurch Airport looking fantastic at the moment. They're things that we should be celebrating, and also the way that we're being communicated with, and the way that we're always getting comprehensive reports. I'm really appreciative of that. So I'm going to support both. So I'm happy to support both. I'm going to say that I'm going to go by way of committee and see which way the committee wants to go. However, I do want to acknowledge that you did ask for a pragmatic approach to the way that we pay our directors. which is actually going off the 2023 rates and obviously revisiting that in 2026. So therefore, I'm going to support both and go by way of the committee. Kia ora.
Phil?
I'm just a bit confused now. If we support both, the one wipes out the other, surely.
No, if Pauline's is lost, we go back to the substantive.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So
But
yeah.
we've got to go through the
Okay.
process because you didn't get a seconder for the substantive,
yep.
so we're going to do this.
'Cause I didn't have a
And if this is lost, then we go back to the substantive, and you can do whatever you want.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, can I talk?
Yes, you may. You have the talking stick.
I'd just like to, I'd just like to say thank Brian for his service. He's not actually here asking for money, just tidying up a bit of a shambles. It's very easy. We're just dividing a pool that was for 8 people, is now for 7 people. He's come and steadied the ship, and he's actually done the council a favour because we were in deep stook when he stuck his head up above the parapet. And asking what the hourly rate is an absolute embarrassment.
Yeah, we
in
moved
my
on from that, so let's keep
Thank
going.
you.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you. So I've got Mark.
Thank you. I will not be supporting the amendment. I don't think kicking the can down the road on this one is pragmatic and wise. Thank you, CCHL, for the work you've done. You guys have gone through a rough time and you're coming out smelling like roses now, which is great. And keep up your good work. So I will certainly be supporting the substantive. Hopefully we can get there and we're not kicking the can down the road with this amendment.
Thank you, Yanni. And can we just keep respectful with regards to moving forward? Thank you.
Yeah, well, I mean, given that people have been personally attacking me for raising
Yes.
what
And
I thought was a legitimate
and I
thing,
have shut them down, Yanni.
and I actually put a question ahead of the meeting
Yes.
and didn't get an answer, so I tried to do it respectfully. So
Point of
But
order.
just wanted
I
to,
don't think that that's a personal
just
attack. Yeah,
just wanted to raise
not-
that
James,
in
thank
the
you. I don't
public
need to help.
service
that's right,
website around remuneration of boards, it's really clear that there is an assessment of workload, 50 days for chairs and 30 days for members. So some of the appointments from government to our companies like the airport, where they have appointments, they do set an assumed workload. And I think it's an absolutely valid question to understand what the expectation is of the work directly related to the directors' fees being set. But regardless, just to speak to the amendment, I do support deferring this. I am concerned that if we did approve it today, we're effectively making the call to reduce the directors from CCHL from 8 to 7, and I don't think we've actually had that conversation as a council at a governance level yet. So I do think it's inherently unfair to reduce the number on CCHL through this mechanism. I appreciate the need to look at not increasing the spending in this space, but I do share the concern that we do need to look at how directors' fees are set and the balance of how we remunerate people for the work that they do in society. And directors' fees is one but clear example, in my personal view, of something that's entirely out of kilter. So, but the main principle for not supporting this today is that I don't agree with reducing the governance around CCHL from 8 to 7, and I don't support making the increase today that precludes us from doing that.
Can I just remind everyone from the chair that the chair of CCHL has said that they are comfortable with reducing from 8 to 7, that they have fulfilled, that they believe they've fulfilled their skills matrix, and it is their decision as in the wording with regards to reducing to 7. So I'll just remind you about that.
Here's Yarn's undertaking a board.
So, no, excuse me, James, don't need any just don't. Thank you. Jake, you're next. And Paul.
I didn't have much to say other than similar concerns to Councillor Johansson, which is I don't see the harm in waiting to make this decision until all the benchmarking work is done, and I'm not entirely across the line on the decision to move from 8 to 7. So it would be good to look into this over the next few months.
Pauline?
Thank you. So, look, in moving this, it's in no way a reflection on the board of the current directors or the chair or the chief executive of CCHL. I know that the calibre is extremely high there, and CCHL is doing incredible work in helping the council incredibly valuably. So that is no assertion there. Just want to make that clear. But this increase does represent 13.75, which if the editor of the press was here, might put it on the front page. I have to ask Sam.
Yeah. Can we keep the facts, please?
Anyway, I just think it's premature to go here now. An interim increase prior to completing the benchmarking work, I think, is premature. And I do appreciate it will cause delay. However, it seems to be more sensible to wait for that benchmarking work to be done. So that's my main reason for doing that. I think do one report, do it well, do it after the election. Thank you.
Thank you. No one else? Kelly?
Yeah, I'm not going to support the amendment, but I will support the substantive. I think we need to provide... Oh, okay. I think we need to provide certainty for the directors of CCHL. I think it sends a message that we're pleased with what they're doing, and you know, the discussion about hourly rates to me seems ridiculous. Well, it's part of my debate. So, you know, I have a daughter who's going to be 29 when she comes out of medical school. She's spent basically her whole life preparing to serve people. I'm sure her hourly rate will be ridiculous, but it'll be well earned. So, yeah, I think it's a bit silly talking about that. Cheers.
Thank you. Just so you're aware, I've asked for a division, so from the chair. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I just, because this is in the public domain and the public can see it and comment on it, and hourly rate is one of those things around directorships that people do talk about, or a meeting's only that long. James did talk about the liability, but I'll highlight something here, and Tim, you should be sympathetic to this, is for a lot of directors, what about their reading speed?
Yeah.
How fast can you read is a big one for some people, and then
Fast can you understand as well, Aaron?
and yep, thanks, Jake. Yeah, how fast can you understand? And
nice,
yes,
Jake.
I am easily distracted, and so often when I read something, if it really pricks my interest, I will then jump online and do extra research on it. Even if it's in the public domain, I'll ring people, I'll talk about it. So I'm constantly trying to inform myself on the decisions I'm making. And so something that might seem very simple and you can be in a meeting and talk about for 10 minutes might have taken you hours to get there, or years of experience like Kelly pointed out. And that's what you're paying for. You're not paying for the hours in the seat and then the sausage rolls.
Right. Thank you. Right, thank you. Look, just from me, you can never have enough pictures in a board paper, just saying. So if Brian and the board and Matt are happy with 7, I don't have any... their experience is far greater than mine, so I'm more than happy with that side. For me, it's not an issue. I will put it now, and if Pauline's motion fails, then we will return to the substantive. So could we have a division, please, on Pauline's?
Okay, so a division has been called for item 14, Christchurch City Holdings Ltd, review of board fees, which has been moved by Councillor Cotter and seconded by Councillor Donovan. So, now the division. Councillor Templeton. Councillor McClellan.
Yes.
Councillor McDonald. Oh, he's
I know how I would vote, but I probably can't.
Councillor Johansson.
Yes.
Councillor Fields.
Yes.
Councillor Moore. No. Councillor Donovan. Yes. Councillor Coker.
Can't vote.
She can't vote, sorry. Councillor Peters.
No.
The Mayor.
No.
Councillor Scandron.
No.
Councillor Barber.
No.
Councillor Kean.
No.
Councillor Goff.
No.
Councillor Henstock.
No.
Councillor Harrison Hunt.
Yes.
The Deputy Mayor. Yes. So the yeses are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the noes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, noting there were 2 people who weren't able to vote.
So we go back to the substantive, and just to get things moving, I'll second the Mayor's. So I'll second that. So I'll now put the substantive, and could we have a division in this as well? Sorry, David. So just a minute. Yeah. Just to make things this. And we're not having a second debate. I've seconded it. I second from the chair just to get it rolling. Yeah.
So this is the original staff recommendation, and it's been moved by the Mayor and seconded by Councillor Scandrett. And I'll just take these two off. Okay. Councillor Moore. Yes. Councillor Johansson. No. Deputy Mayor. No. Councillor McClellan. No. Councillor Barber.
Yes.
Councillor Goff.
Yes.
Councillor Keon. Yes. Councillor Fields.
No.
The Mayor.
Yeah.
Councillor Scandrett.
Yes.
Councillor Harrison Hunt.
Yes.
Councillor Templeton. Councillor Donovan. No. Councillor Peters.
Yes.
Councillor Henstock.
Yes.
So the yeses are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the noes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, noting that 2 people were unable to vote.
Thank you very much. So I'll declare the substantive carried, and thank you all for your debate, and I welcome back the chair.
Thank you, Tim, for chairing.